All right, folks, I finally got the Chief back in the garage after an entire wait of it being at the shop. And not only did I get the Chief back, but I also got those damaged parts, which are now repaired. And let me tell you, this is the best that this bike has looked since I've had it. Just let me show you what we got. All right, so we got the tank right there, and we got the fender. Both of these have been sanded down, but that tank has been repaired. And of course, we got the bike right here. The subframe was repaired as well. And this bike is just incredibly dusty. Man, this thing is dusty. But let me explain to you why the bike was in the shop in the first place. The whole reason I had the bike at the shop was because I had to get the subframe fixed, the fender fixed, the rear fender, and also the tank. And also I mentioned that a brand new subframe is $600 and a brand new rear fender is $1,000, and a tank without any of the trimmings, the bushings, fuel pump assembly, gas cap, that's $1,500. So I took the bike to the shop because I couldn't get the subframe fixed without having the subframe on the bike, because they put the bike on a frame machine and they literally pulled the subframe where it needed to be, because the fender would sit on the subframe, but it never would look quite right because the subframe was slightly tweaked or bent. So they got everything right and the rear fender looks so much better. But while it was there, I also had the tank fixed. And that's when they took those dents out of the tank, then they filled it with fiberglass, and then they put the top layer of Bondo and put the body line back. So in this whole ordeal, I had to rent a truck, or borrow a truck because I don't own a truck. And then I had to go rent a U-Haul both times to get it there and to get it back. And this is me struggling to get the bike at least on the trailer and get it back home. Check this out. All right, loading this thing back up on the truck. On the trailer. This thing's dusty. Getting this thing on this trailer without this tank on it is easier, but oh my God, it's still hard. All right, first up is this fender. It was not perfect. You guys remember it had like, it was covered in plasti dip. It had like marks here. And the body guy, they sanded this down and got it where it needed to be. The right side was scratched, and then the left side was scratched. And they also filled this part in and made that look a lot better, which matches the other side. So that looks really good. And of course, we're gonna get this painted when it goes back to the shop soon. And this is the subframe. So remember, this was slightly tweaked where this side was slightly higher than the other, and that we couldn't get the frame to sit on this correctly because of, I guess, the subframe being tweaked. So they have fixed this. So let me show you guys. See, you kind of see it is better. But let me show you what it looks like with the fender on the bike. All right, so we got the fender. I'm so excited to get this stuff painted. All right, that's lined up on that side. Force it down, pull it out from this side. Yep. All right, it is technically where it needs to be. I'm actually gonna rotate this around because of the sunlight, you can be able to see it better. There, we got the seat. It's definitely easier to move when there's not a tank on it. More on that later. All right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this jack out so I can have the bike sitting straight up. Let's do this. After getting the bike up a little bit, you guys can see that it is better. That's bright. So I do have the bike raised up more than usual, but it is definitely better than what it was. And that is the goal. Now the reason it looks kind of high is because I do have the bike sitting on the jack, but I was doing that to kind of get the bike straight so you guys can see that. So it looks a lot better than what it previously did, and I'm satisfied with that. So next up is the tank. But before we move on to the tank, I do want to mention that if you didn't know, at the end of this series, once this bike is done, I will be giving it away to somebody that's supporting the channel. So if you want to get in on this and possibly win my wrecked It won't be right when it's done, but my Indian Chief at the end of this series, you can head over to BrandonBicasso.com just for supporting your boy. Get entered and you could win my bike at the end. So there's that. Let's get on to the tank. This tank has been through so much, but it looks so much better now. Check this out. So this is the left side of the bike that still has the Indian logo. That's gonna be pulled off for when it gets painted. That's the gas cap covered up from when they were sanding everything. And this is what the side of the tank looks like now. It was like nothing actually happened. So it looks 100 times better. You can see they actually put the body line back into the tank, like the other side. So let's get this on the bike so we can see what it looks like. All right. On we go. Forward. And it is on. All that yes, from sanding the bond up. This looks good. Put this on the bike and see how is it gonna look. It has not been back on this bike since the accident. Oh man, it's starting to look like a regular bike again. Check that out. That cleans it up so well, dude. That is sick. I don't even know where this thing has been off so long. I don't even know where these little screws are anymore. But that looks like a Chief again, man. Like we're still missing the side panels. I got to go back and put those on, but they weren't on because we were I was working on the bike, so I just didn't put them back. Oh man, that looks so good, guys. I'm so pleased with how this came out. That actually looks kind of cool on there. You know, all that, I guess, the sanding. The plan now is to get these parts back off of the bike. I wanted it here because I still need to do work myself, and I wanted you guys to see what it looks like at this point. But I'm starting to second guess myself again about this triple tree, taking the bike apart down back to that triple tree to get it painted. I feel like I still want to leave some reminiscence of the bike of what it was before, like having a few scratches on it, especially on the triple tree. I think it adds a nice little bit of character to the bike. Let me know what y'all think about that, because we did pull the biggest piece of indication that the bike was in an accident by the tank. But I mean, I don't really care about taking it back down to the triple tree, but it's like, it doesn't look that bad. Let me just show you what I mean. So I was thinking about taking the bike all the way back down to this one piece and taking this off and getting it repainted, because this piece is still gloss black. It looks fine. The risers do have a few nicks in them, but honestly, man, it doesn't look that bad. So that's why I'm wondering if, like, should I actually get this repainted or should I just leave it alone? I'm not trying to be a perfectionist, but I really just want the bike to look good. But if you guys think this looks fine for a bike that somebody else is gonna get, if you guys think this is fine, I might just leave it as is, because I would honestly ride the bike as it is. I mean, my bikes have scratches on them, so there's no problem to me, but I'm giving it to someone else at the end of this, and I really just want it to be right. So like I said, let me know what y'all think about that down in the comments. But while I got you here, let's go ahead and plug this up and I guess at least show you guys that this thing at least works. It's kind of cool to see it powered on, so let's do it. I do have to take the tank off to get to this one little connector. I'm gonna plug this broken wire that I've shown you guys multiple times in there. And that should be enough to get the bike started. Well, not started. We need this to get the bike started, and I make sure that I actually have it in my hand this time versus trying to start it without it. But that cable is what gives power and data to the ride command. So let's plug it in. So to plug this in, we got this one port right here on the back, and I'm just gonna set it up here. This is more so for USB power, if I remember correctly, but it's not needed. All right, now that we got that seated, see that? You have to get it really in there. It is a little tough to get it in there, but you have to make sure that that watertight seal is in there. Again, we don't have this one connected. So I'm gonna press the power button. Voila, there it is. It's on. Bike's in neutral. Gas light showing up because we don't have a gas tank. So it is correctly relaying information to us. And yeah, this thing works, man. An ABS light that goes off when we actually move the bike. And yeah, there's the warning for the ride command. So it does work off of this one cable. So there you go. So that's the ride command. It works off of that one cable and it's relaying information from the ECU and the rest of the computers. But we're gonna look at more of what's in that ride command later, because there was a bit of a surprise that I found that's very interesting. It just shows the history of having a bike that's not yours. You always find little nuggets, and this is a pretty interesting nugget. So the next step is to get these parts back to the shop. We're gonna get them painted, and then while the bike is still here, we're gonna get that suspension worked on. We're also gonna get some of these parts buffed out, and I'm gonna get the rear tire changed out. So there's more work that I have to do, but yeah, let me know what y'all think of the bike so far and what it looks like. But yeah, as I said before, things are getting done, and I'm very excited to get this bike even closer to completion. But if you're new here and you want to find out why this bike was in this situation to begin with, going to the shop, getting tank repaired, if you want to start from the very beginning, you can click this playlist right here on the screen and start from the very beginning. And also, if you want a chance to win my Indian Chief, you can go over to BrandonBicasso.com by clicking this little card right here on the screen and get entered to win this bike. So as always, thanks for listening to my story. Thank you for listening to my story. And also thank you for supporting the series. And if you're subscribed, which I hope you are, so you don't miss anything, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.